Hi, I'm Zach Bishop. I'm a freshman at the University of Arkansas, and this is my Information Speech 1. So there's no doubt in the world that there are definitely great people and there are not so great people. Now, I'm not talking about personality necessarily, I'm talking about level of success. So I'm talking about the elite of the elite, the people that, you'll see posters of people's walls. It'll be the Michael Jordans of the world, the LeBron James of the world, the Albert Einsteins of the world, the Joe Rogans of the world. I mean, you name it. There's definitely people that have a certain level of prowess and eliteness about them, and it shows through their success level, and it also shows through their level of, economic growth and overall just fame throughout the world. So, changing subjects, I want you to close your eyes and picture a time in which you failed, and you failed miserably, and you know that you failed, and you wish that you could give everything that you could to go back and fix what you did, but you just can't. And you're left with this deep-seated feeling of just pure failure and anguish, and there's nothing you can do about it. So this kind of plays off of the ism that I chose. The ism I chose is called experimentalism, and basically the definition of experimentalism is experiences give knowledge, and that knowledge helps to give future growth for humans. So this is, through more like experiences is more towards the failures that experiences give. So I'm talking about you failed the test, you did bad in the game, you messed up a conversation, you messed up an interview. These are the experiences that help to prompt human evolution, human change. Because humans are evolutionary creatures, and we've been growing and gaining more and more knowledge since the beginning of time. So for my first point, I want to talk about how not being the elite of the elite is necessarily a bad thing. So John Dewey is the person that coined this term of experimentalism, and he helped to define success through this quote from Business Insider that says, "Success is largely about the willingness to solve a problem in a new way." So this new way can be through an evolution of, oh, I messed up, I know what I did, and I can come back and fix it. And that's this level of success that I'm talking about. Because obviously not everybody in this world can be, from the, born being the next Albert Einstein or Michael Jordan, because those are two just absolute phenomenons of people. But a lot of that comes from learning how to fail and learning how to create that failure into something bigger. So my next thing I want to talk about is just, define it through the types of examples and different, levels of experimentalism that's throughout people's lives. This is definitely something that's very prevalent throughout people's lives. So through childhood, this can be, let's say your mom made a warm batch of cookies and she took them out of the oven. They're piping hot, and, as a normal adult or semi-adult, not to touch the piping hot batch of cookies, but the kid sees cookies, goes and grabs cookies and burns himself. And I guess that's a story that at least is prevalent to me. But, it's like little things like that where, falling on a playground, it teaches you to be more careful, or getting in trouble for lying or not cleaning teaches you, some sort of self-discipline. There are certain levels of things that show failure to growth. And there's another, through education, that could be through, failing a test as a middle schooler, high schooler, or in college, and learning what you need to study more or what you need to do more, maybe reach out to your professor, and there's just certain things that you can learn from these failures. And through work, that can be, messing up on a project or not communicating something properly and having your boss yell at you, and then you thoroughly change what you're doing. And Webster's dictionary gives all these examples through experimentalism, and it helps really clearly define how these work thoroughly throughout people's lives. And so for my third point, I want to talk about how experimentalism is going to be everlasting, basically. So NASA did an interesting study about how space study and how different, experiments and failures help to show change. So the first astronaut to land on the moon, Neil Armstrong, they didn't really know what they're getting themselves into, obviously, because, it's the moon, nobody had been on the moon. And they had this weird contraption, it's a big cage with a seat in it, and it was something like you'd see in arcade. It was basically twirl you around in circles and make you basically almost try to throw up. And this was basically to help level the turbulence going in and out of space. And over time it shows that at first Neil Armstrong would be throwing up constantly, nonstop, being really sick, and just not wanting to get back into this chair to create a certain level of self-discipline to be able to do space travel. but eventually over time, obviously he got to where he wouldn't throw up and could take the type of turbulence that was coming, and this helped to show this change and evolution. And NASA, one of the most successful organizations of our time, and have shown massive success, has shows this. So in my conclusion, I just want to touch on experiences only come from these failures and successes that people are going to be taking. So people aren't going to be perfect, and there's further evidence to that, but the level of just going and understanding what you did and why you did it and learning from it and growing from it is going to show the growth of experientialism. So that's about it. So thank you.